Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 2022 Golden Rule Lightkeepers Award and Fabric of Our Community Awards ceremony. I'm Raquel Painter, President for United Way of Onslow County. On behalf of United Way and as a proud member of the Onslow Civic Affairs Committee, it is my honor to have the opportunity to share this day with all of you. As we celebrate the profound commitment to service displayed by so many of our community residents. As I look around the room, I am thrilled to see so many of our community's officials who have come out to celebrate with us today. Honorable Harry Brown, Commissioners Royce Bennett, you moved on me. Commissioner Mark Price, Walter Scott, Tim Foster, our Board of Education, Ken Reddick, Bill Lanier, Melissa Oakley, our city elected officials, got Bob Warden, Brian Jackson, Randy Thomas, and Dr. Washington. Did I miss anyone? It's hard to see everyone. Can't forget the lovely Lisa Brown, Clerk of Court. Clerk of Court. Welcome, Lisa. At this time, I would like to introduce Adrian James for our invocation.
Join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the reason in which we are gathered as we celebrate those that give of their time and their talents to better this community that we live in. We thank you that even during a pandemic, it did not stop them from giving of themselves. We ask that you would continue to bless them, this community, and all of us as we come together, that we may live united. We ask that you bless the food, that it will strengthen us to continue in your will. This is our prayer in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Adrian. At this time, let us eat this delicious meal provided by Publix. So the ceremony will continue momentarily. Ladies and gentlemen, please continue to eat for those of you who still have your food. We're going to go ahead and begin the program. In Onslow County, we appreciate and accept others as we realize that our strengths come from inclusion rather than exclusion. Volunteerism is a cornerstone for a caring community and the energy that brings people together for important causes. The smallest act of kindness is never wasted and is worth more than the grandest intention. We see this in all of our nominees today, not because they necessarily have the time, but because they have the heart for service. Enhancing and promoting volunteerism is just one of the many resources United Way utilizes to effect change in our community. From the synergy of working together, it's not just one drop or a trickle of movement. It's a wave of action, a swell that changes lives through volunteerism. At the heart of our caring community's commitment to volunteerism, the United Way's Volunteer Onslow, founded in 1999, the Volunteer and Nonprofit Resource Center has grown and evolved to become both the gateway to volunteer service for new volunteers and the cornerstone between volunteers and local nonprofits. Volunteer Onslow was still dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic, but still had a measure of volunteer service valued at close to $1 million in sweat equity and connecting thousands of local volunteers with more than 100 local nonprofits. The website volunteeronslow.org, which I hope you are all using to track your volunteer service, is continuing to grow, and in 2021, we added 796 new volunteers, totaling 11,608 registered users in Volunteer Onslow. We added 4 new agencies to give us 123 agencies that source volunteers, So let's get up for the agencies and volunteers that use Volunteer Onslow, as they are making a difference in our community. Volunteer Onslow is just one of 22 local programs. There's always one. Volunteer Onslow is just one of 22 local programs, partnerships, and initiatives your local United Way supports that impacts over 33,000 lives annually. While the impact of volunteerism is most easily measured in hours served and sweat equity dollars saved for the community, many of you in this room can attest that it's something much more. It's the feeling of community experienced during projects, events, and daily activities, as well as the look on the faces of the people that we service, that is the immeasurable true impact of service. It's my pleasure to turn the program over to United Way's Community Impact Director and Director of Volunteer Onslow, Shelley Keywick. As Shelley comes forward, please join me in applauding her efforts for today's event and the fantastic job she does every day.
Thank you, Raquel. It's an honor to work with so many of you who have joined us here today, and I thank you all for your service to our community. At this time, I would like to introduce the sponsor for this amazing event, and Raquel, please come speak on their behalf.
Okay, Jones Onslow is definitely the presenting sponsor for the Golden Rule Lightkeepers and Fabric of Our Community Awards, but due to work commitments, they weren't able to attend. But I definitely want to say thank you to Jones Onslow, and for many of you guys could attest that they definitely contribute and make changes here in our community that we service, whether they're sponsoring events or they're out there with the employees or associates of Jones Onslow EMC that are volunteering in our community. So definitely thank you, Jones Onslow EMC, for always supporting.
Thank you, Raquel. Jones Onslow EMC has definitely set the standard for Onslow County for community support and good corporate citizenship, and we thank them for everything they do for United Way and Onslow County. Before I start with the awards presentation, I would like to say a special thank you to all of our judges. Please stand when I call your name. Sierra Hunter of Brow A Beauty Boutique. Colleen Curtis with the Irish Iris. Elizabeth Elks, Director of Milestones Academy. Tracy Jackson with the City of Jacksonville. Wendell Boykins, North Carolina Public Safety. And Mike Choice with Chick-fil-A. Thank you all for taking time to ensure the people who deserve recognition get it. We truly appreciate it. I am honored to present the Youth Award. It makes my heart happy to see our youth giving back to the community at such an early age. We can certainly learn a lot from them. This year's youth nominees are, and please come to the front as I call your name, Andrew Bothman, Possumwood Acres Wildlife Sanctuary. Tybee Brown, United Way of Onslow County. Riley Keys, Relay for Life, and United Way of Onslow County's CHEW program. Y'all, this right here, there's no words. My heart, right here. Sorry. So this individual has made volunteering with United Way her #1 priority. She gives 100% of herself, whether she's helping out an event like National Night Out, our Trunk or Treat, or devoting her time to our CHEW program. She is a junior in the early college program and not only comes out to help on the days she doesn't have class, but also comes beforehand just to make sure there's nothing that we need help with and to get us started with our day. She took her love for the program back to her classroom and was able to recruit other students to come out and volunteer as well. When she noticed that the food was getting low, she took the initiative to host a food drive at her school to ensure the children were being fed. Her determination has no limits, and she will do whatever it takes to make sure that our program is a success. She can be seen at almost every pack out and has taken a supervisory role when she's there. We are extremely blessed for all she does for our children in our community. Congratulations to our 2022 Golden Rule Lightkeeper runner-up, Tybee Brown. Your 2022 Golden Rule Lightkeeper Youth Award winner has volunteered hundreds of hours for Relay for Life of Onslow County, serving as a youth volunteer coordinator on the event leadership team, and many hours volunteering for our CHEW program to help feed hungry children on the weekends. She has also held countless fundraising events and food drives. During the COVID pandemic, when all volunteer activities were suspended, she started a Reading for Riley program in which she would meet twice weekly on Zoom calls with local children and have story time. Not only did this help young children with reading and listening skills, but it also helped them with their mental health. Determined not to let the pandemic stop her from helping others, she continued to hold donation drives and deliver collections in a safely modified manner. She ensured everything was sanitized and safe for distribution and spent countless hours coming up with new ways to help others with no contact involved. These are just a few examples of the things that she has done to help community and individuals. She is a role model to her peers and strives to show others the good within themselves. And your other winner overcame many obstacles that most children wouldn't have been able to handle. Never mind, come through in such a positive light. He spends all of his free time at Possumwood Acres, learning as much as possible about the wildlife rehabilitation profession, gaining hands-on skills, and constantly asks questions to understand the reasoning behind decisions and treatment. He engages in public speaking at every opportunity, including TV and press, and we all know how scary that is. Constantly uses his computer skills to research information beneficial for the patients and their recovery process. Teaches other volunteers and interns, and has developed social media posts and raised money on Facebook for the patient supplies and necessary veterinary care. He plans to continue his volunteering with them until they're able to hire him full-time. He is encouraged to learn, to attend college, and to reach his goal of becoming a wildlife veterinarian. He encourages other troubled teens to stay focused, work hard on their studies, and graduate high school. His ready smile and unbreakable spirit shine out to everyone who meets him, and he's the light of their day. They say at Possumwood Acres that it's made possible through the miracle of volunteerism in our community. It's my great honor to welcome our 2022 Golden Rule Lightkeeper Award winners, Riley Keys and Andrew Hoffman.
We would like to take this opportunity to recognize our youth group nominees. Please come to the podium. Cape Fear Red Cross Youth Club and Onslow Memorial Hospital volunteers. This is our future, ladies and gentlemen. Our 2022 Golden Rule Lightkeeper Youth Group runner-up play an important support role in the day-to-day activities of fast-paced hospital work. From greeting visitors at the door, sanitizing equipment to serve the patients their meals, these teens are impacting the lives of many people. Because these young volunteers are available to provide assistance with non-technical tasks, the hospital staff could better focus on patient care, which has been so important to them during the pandemic. Their service to others expands beyond the walls of the hospital, with hosting blood drives and knitting tiny hats for the newborns babies. Their hands are experience that they are gaining will help them make a positive choice as they go through life. Congratulations, Onslow Memorial Hospital volunteers. So your 2022 Golden Rule Lightkeeper Youth Group winner recognized the critical shortage of blood donations and decided to make it their goal to recruit as many donors as possible to help maintain a better blood supply. They have done massive work with the International Humanitarian Program to identify and map structures and facilities around the world. They educated many on the importance of the measles and rubella and conducted fundraisers to ensure more children were vaccinated. Disasters are frequent to our local community, including hurricanes, other threatening weather, and home fires. So the local group conducted a smoke detector project for their families and close friends to ensure all were aware of the importance of working smoke alarms. At holiday time, they prepared greeting cards thanking our veterans for their service and delivered them to the Kinston Veterans Home. Their service to the community has no limits, and they will do whatever it takes to make it better. Please help me in congratulating our 2022 Golden Rule Lightkeeper Youth Group Award winners, Cape Fear Red Cross Club.
Groups of individuals or family volunteers can make a big impact in our community. By working together, groups can make the impossible possible. This year, in the adult group category, we recognize a group of individuals who have made a lasting impact on many residents here in Onslow County. This year, nominees are, and please come to the front as I call your name, Action Club of Topsail, North Carolina, Onslow Community Outreach, Soup Kitchen Volunteers. Our 2022 Golden Rule Lightkeeper Adult Group Runners-Up consistently dedicate their time to volunteering in the soup kitchen at Onslow Community Outreach. Every Friday, they assist with their lunch meal and street outreach meals. There is never a task too small or too large for them. Additionally, during special events such as Onslow Oktoberfest, some of them volunteer to work, often for 8+ hour shifts that are physically demanding. They remain steadfast in their commitment to Onslow Community Outreach and the betterment of Onslow County. Their contributions significantly impacted the most vulnerable people in Onslow County. They are the champions of people and a wonderful example of uplifting your community. Onslow Community Outreach Soup Kitchen volunteers. Our 2022 adult group winners overcame intellectual and developmental disabilities to give them the opportunity to volunteer in our community. They are showing everyone that they come in contact with that inclusion can not only mean these adults, but to all they come in contact with. They prove that with enough understanding, support, and dedication, those disabilities can make a great contribution to the community. These individuals have come alive with the opportunity to help. They have performed many volunteer projects with limited supervision that they would otherwise not have been able to accomplish without being a part of this group. Individually, they lacked a place to be a part of, but because of this group, the world has no limits for them. They provide hope for the individuals that provide the work, but more importantly, they provide for their families of children with disabilities. Action Group was not able to make it here today. They have put in many, many hours, and they decided it was time for them to go on a vacation. But we do want to thank them for all that they are doing for our community.
Our 2022 Golden Rule Lightkeeper Education nominee are like no other. Volunteer educators open up a world of opportunities for their students. They provide knowledge, share experiences, and teach skills that enable their students to have a deeper understanding of their world and the world around them. And our 2022 Golden Rule Lightkeeper Education Award winner does just that. Her patience, experience, friendship, caring, and endless ability to research what she may not know makes her the perfect person to work with the elderly. Researchers say that 12% of Onslow County citizens are unable to read at a basic level. Therefore, she tries to reach out and educate as many of them as she can. She has chosen to work with the elderly, and it not only is something she enjoys, but the reading ability of her students grew by leaps and bounds. One once non-reader is not only reading, but is now writing stories. Her impact to the community is immeasurable, and because of it, students are able to become self-sufficient in reading and in turn become higher-level functioning citizens. Many take what they learn to others and share their new love for reading. The Onslow Literacy Center is better off because she is there volunteering. Will Marjorie Jones from Onslow Literacy Council please come forward?
Our 2022 Golden Rule Lightkeeper Adult Individual nominees are like no other. They have given so much of themselves to our community, and we are truly blessed to have them here in Onslow County. Our volunteers are advocates, mentors, coaches, educators, rescuers, friends, and professionals. They have a love for the community and want to continue to see it grow and flourish. This year, nominees are, please come to the front as I call your name, Bonnie Apone, Onslow Community Outreach, Caring Community Clinic. Dennis Biamcuso, LGBTQ. Verlando Frazier, Onslow Literacy Council. Sandy Middlebrooks, the Salvation Army. Connie Palacios, Onslow County Peers Program. Sharon Regan, Onslow Community Outreach. Glenn Spradling, Onslow Community Outreach, New River Rotary, and Sturgeon City. Linda Washington, the Salvation Army. Dr. Johnny Williams, MD, Old North State Medical Foundation, and Mount Carmel Health. Congratulations to all of our Golden Rule Lightkeeper individual nominees. Your commitment to this community is exceptional, and it goes without saying how extremely thankful we are to be your neighbor. Caring, compassionate, academic strength, intelligent, and enthusiastic were just a few of the words that were used to describe our 2022 Golden Rule Lightkeeper Adult Individual Award runner-up. He provides endless hours currently volunteering with the Onslow County Soup Kitchen, MENAC, and Onslow Literacy Council. With the Onslow Literacy Council, he serves as the educator chair, transforming their training, testing, and tracking program. His positive attitude and desire to help anyone, especially the low-level readers, are a tribute to his service. In many ways, he is helping the future of our citizens by volunteering with MENAC. He encourages junior high students to improve their academic skills and enhances their desire to graduate from high school. His desire to serve and never ask for recognition, which is the epitome of a true volunteer. Please join me in presenting the 2022 Golden Rule Lightkeeper Adult Individual Runner-Up Award to Verlando Lee Frazier. Our 2022 Golden Rule Lightkeeper Award Individual Adult winner has been a valuable asset to those who needed her most. She has made a commitment and has gone above and beyond her word. She has remained a consistent volunteer to the Caring Community Clinic and dedicated hours even during the height of the recent pandemic. Instead of decreasing her volunteer hours, she increased them with the purpose of filling in any area their organization needed help. Her positive attitude and her how can I help approach led to her not only helping in the medical clinic, but she has filled a critical need at their dental clinic too. Over the past 8 years, she has assisted and led major projects concerning the Caring Community Medical and Dental Clinics. She has filled in as a nurse when the nurse was on vacation. She was working hand in hand with the clinic staff to rebuild the clinic after it was damaged from Hurricane Florence. And her most recent accomplishment came when she secured funding in the amount of $10,600 from Delta Dental and local area businesses that went toward replacement of critical equipment needed for the operations at their dental clinic. She has been a valued volunteer for almost a decade, and she has been supportive to the overall organization growth, of which has made a positive impression on their other volunteers, parents, and staff. When needed, she can be called upon to take elderly neighbors to doctor's appointments and sits with them while they're waiting. She provides care for them at their homes when they're recovering from an illness or a surgery. Over the past 8 years, she has made a major impact in the lives of the uninsured patients and is a true testament to the greatest love she has of giving back to others. She has displayed her willingness to help others through the unwavering dedication of volunteerism. Our 2022 Golden Rule Lightkeeper Adult Individual Award goes to Bonnie Apone. Congratulations to the 2022 Golden Rule Lightkeeper winners. You have inspired us all, as we are truly grateful for your dedication and the support of your community. As we continue to honor our volunteers, please join me in welcoming Lorette Legan, Vice Chairman of the Civic Affairs Committee, who will be assisted by various members of the committee for the presentation of the Fabric of Our Community Awards.
Good afternoon, everyone. Many cultures celebrate those who have led them, inspired them, guided them, and helped to give their people inspiration, hope, and action. Today, the Onslow Civic Affairs Committee seeks to embody those who within our lifetime have done that for Onslow County. During the recognition of the far-reaching effects of the Beirut bomb blast of 1983, our community recognized that the fabric of our community had been torn by the loss of so many in that single day. Our community lost the potential of what could have been from the loss of so many lives. The lives lost that day were also interwoven so that we also lost their valued and varied contribution to our civic infrastructure. Our awards today are the result of that shared concern that we acknowledge the composition of our community's fabric and that we celebrate their contributions. The Onslow Civic Affairs Committee was born of an effort to assemble people who were part of the fabric of our community to recognize how we can improve our community through civic education. Ours is a diverse committee made up of elected officials, community leaders, educators, nonprofit leaders and workers, people with military and civilian backgrounds, and just regular citizens who want to improve and better our community. The committee was unanimous in adopting an effort to preserve and recognize those whose actions have spoken loudly and whose contributions to the fabric of our community have made it stronger and our future brighter. Thus far, we have recognized 28 individuals with 24 panels in our quilt of honor. Now, since our induction, unfortunately, we mourn the loss of Fannie Coleman, Itchy Popkin, Otto Taylor, and Pat Walker. We began this project to highlight the civic infrastructure of our community in 2017. Today, we recognize the sixth group of persons inducted into the fabric of our community status. The criteria for selection is for there to be an unquestioned contribution to bettering our community through a single action that has an enduring benefit, or a lifetime of work that has demonstrated a pattern of actions that together have contributed to the strengthening of our community. These members of the recognition group today unquestionably demonstrate this. Members of the Onslow Civic Affairs Committee will give recognition to these persons by a small stretch piece of fabric that will represent a quilt of many persons whose collective work will inspire other generations into the future. And so now, my observance committee is up here with me, and I'd also like to invite Senator Harry Brown and his family to come forward to help induct these persons into our quilt of persons whose contributions truly reflect the fabric of our community.
Senator Harry Brown. On the state level, Harry Brown was an important leader in the North Carolina Senate. His leadership and action there benefited Onslow County greatly in many ways. He helped facilitate projects and funding. He told our story and ensured that the state Senate would not forget where he was from. During his 16-year career in the Senate, he served 10 years as Majority Leader, where his significant influence was felt by all. In reflecting on the senator's influence, fellow Republican Senator Brent Jackson of Sampson County said, "Senator Brown has been a consistent voice for so many in our state, from hurricane-battered Jones County all the way to thousands of U.S. Marines that call North Carolina home." In announcing his decision not to run for re-election, Senator Brown indicated he had run on three things: doing something for career and technical education, tax policy, and term limits. Quoting him, he said, "With the completion of Onslow County Schools Regional Skills Center and North Carolina's tax climate being one of the best in the nation, I felt like it was time to check off that last goal, so to say." While his name immediately brings the Senate to mind, many in Onslow County also know him because of his work in the automotive industry. After studying at NC State University, this former Eagle Scout came to our community to sell cars. His personality, professionalism, and passion led to an empire of car dealerships here. He owned National Subaru and National Volkswagen, and still owns the National Automotive Group, National Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram. It is believed that he's the longest tenured owner of a major car franchise in Onslow County. He stood in front of cameras to represent his dealerships and became the voice of entrepreneurialism in our community. He was a regional finalist for the 2008 Time Magazine Dealer of the Year and won many sales and leadership awards over the years. Throughout his career and personal life, he's been a frequent donor and organizer in our community, bringing awareness and support to community causes. He's been deeply involved, serving in many capacities through the Jacksonville-Onslow Chamber of Commerce, the Jacksonville-Onslow Economic Development Commission, the Hospital Authority, the White Oak River District Chair for the Boy Scouts of America, as Jacksonville Breakfast Rotary Club's president, and many more. He was part of the drive to create the Jacksonville-Onslow Sports Commission, advocating for sports as an economic development focus for our community and for the advancement of a higher level of sports. He served as chairman of the Sports Commission after its formation. For his voice, his action, his passion, and his many contributions, Harry Brown will forever be remembered as a critical and integral part of the fabric of our community. The fabric square he is holding reads, "From this day forth, the Onslow Civic Affairs Committee has designated that Harry Brown is forever to be known for his significant contributions to improving, strengthening, and benefiting the fabric of our community." Inducted Wednesday, April 20th, 2022. Mr. Brown?
Thank you, Cindy. Oh, this is tough. So many friends in here, you know, I look around and, sorry. See so many good people in this room and that really make a difference in this community. And you know, as we grow up in this community, you get involved and it gives back, and So you work real hard. I'm so sorry. You work real hard to give back yourself. And you really don't want any recognition for it. It's just, I think, what we do. Thanks. I didn't want to do this, but anyway. But you know, I see people like Ken Morgan and many others that are sitting here that have spent their life giving back to this community. And you know, one thing I learned when I got to Raleigh, and maybe I'll straighten up when I think about that, but because when I got to Raleigh, I found out real quick, most people didn't know anything about Onslow County, and surely didn't know much about Jones County, you know, where I grew up. So I had a real quick goal of letting people know how important we were as being a part of this state. And so I think many of you know I worked my rear end off to make sure that happened. And but you know, for the people of a community to elect you for 16 years to serve for them, that's pretty humbling. And I was fortunate to have that happen to me. And I even got my old history teacher here, Ken Reddick. You know, I mean, it don't get any better than that, you know. And so maybe he got me thinking about politics a little bit. But you know, it's just been great to live in this community and be a part of it for really all my life and adult life anyway, and to be involved with so many good people. And I think that's what's the most rewarding piece of it is you get to meet other people and work with them and share the good things that this county has and really make a difference in this community. So I'm going to hush and just say thank you so much for this award. And, of course, you know, my family's key to this because, you know, when you're in Raleigh, you leave on Monday and you get home maybe Thursday night or Friday, and that's pretty much all year now. So it's about a full-time job. So, you know, to have family that supports you and allows you to do some of that stuff. And of course, the car business, you know, somebody once told me in the car business to be successful, you have to work a half a day every day, and it doesn't matter what 12 hours it is. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. So, you know, so I know I've been gone a lot. So you got to have a family that understands that and supports you and allows you to do the things that you love and enjoy doing. So it's been a great run for me, and shoot, I'm back at the dealership, so if you want to buy a car, I'll sell you a car, and Morgan will sell you some insurance, and Lisa's getting ready to retire after 39 years at the clerk's office, so we're going to travel a little bit. So, and my son Ryan, he's at the dealership and he's learning, so he's going to hopefully take that over so I can travel more. So, so things are good. Life's good. I've been truly blessed, no question. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. Mr. J.W. Hurst, posthumously. Many in the community know about J.W. Broadhurst Road, but they may not know about the man whom it was named. In short, it is named for a man who championed education and the care for African Americans in Onslow County. Mr. J.W. Broadhurst came to Onslow County in 1932 to teach. And from 1935 until May 30th, 1966, he served as principal of Georgetown High School, then the only African American school in Onslow County. The Georgetown schools were born in an effort of the Trent River Okie Grove Missionary Baptist Association. The association is still active and records of the proceedings of leadership and association that demonstrates the effort made to provide education for the African American communities. But at that time, there was only 5 members of the Georgetown High School faculty when Mr. Broadhurst arrived in Onslow County. Under his leadership, it increased to 50. This task became more difficult after he required all the teachers to have degrees for the subjects in which they would teach. A newspaper clipping from 1933 notes that the accreditation of Georgetown High School were many on the horizon for African American schools. Mr. Broadhurst also led the development of an elementary school that later became the feeder school to Georgetown High School. With limited public funds of support, he rallied a community to ensure that African American students had the education they deserved. The Works Progress Administration was an ambitious employment and infrastructure program created then by President Roosevelt in 1935 during the bleakest of United States years known as the Great Depression. Mr. Broadhurst helped to win and secure the WPA grant for $28,000 for improvement to Georgetown High School. So noteworthy, this particular achievement was mentioned on Thursday, September the 15th, 1938, in the News and Observer newspaper of Raleigh. It indicated that the work would begin on that date of the new WPA project, which it noted was sponsored by Onslow County. The article also highlights that the blueprint for this building would include 12 new classrooms, a library, an office, and an auditorium. As quoted, the schoolhouse will be a brick veneer and will later be large enough to easily accommodate the 500 students currently enrolled at Georgetown High. The article also indicated that both high school and grammar schools will be transferred to the new building when it was completed. In 1952, the school added the 12th grade, and the school added a cafeteria as well as a gymnasium. There was also male and female athletic programs such as football, basketball, track, and basketball. It was in 1955 that the football team, under the direction of Coach Gideon Johnson, won the state championship. It was the first team, white or black, to do so from Onslow County. The school grew with extracurricular activities such as marching band, drama, and science clubs. The school was the first civilian institution to be accredited in Onslow County in 1958 with this new criteria. It was also a center for the community, and Mr. Broadhurst was the champion for advancement of this community. There are many stories about his personal attention to his students. For years, students told of his attention to them, their families, and the encouragement for the trajectory of a successful pathway in life. His demeanor led him to ask students to consider their future. He helped them vision a future learning of leadership and being good citizens in their community. It is that personal leadership and development of character and community that he is often remembered. Mr. J.W. Broadhurst, reflection of his life from the class of Georgetown High School and a 1985 program fundraiser, highlighted this about their illustrious leader. Mr. J.W. Broadhurst was a native of Seven Springs, North Carolina, and married to Eileen Cruz Broadhurst. Now think about this accomplishment for an African-American man at this time. He graduated high school from Seven Springs. He was educated and graduated from North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University with a Bachelor of Arts. He then attended the University of Michigan, where he completed a Master's of Art and continued his educational studies at Columbia University. His educational experience include a teacher at Carver High School, Mount Olive, North Carolina, principal in Jones County, principal of Georgetown High in Jacksonville until he retired. His activities and community affiliations included he was a trustee for the First Baptist Church of Jacksonville, past president of the Onslow County Teachers Association, past president of the Coastal Plain Teachers Association, past member of the Onslow County Board of Education, member of the Jacksonville Recreation Commission, member of the Jacksonville USO Council, member of the Onslow County ABC Board, member of the Coastal Carolina Scholarship Committee, member and past bacillus of Nu Alpha Chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity, treasurer and past master of Mount Horeb Lodge, Masonic Lodge number 73, treasurer of the Arabian Temple number 42, New Bern, and a 33 degree Mason. Therefore, it is for his educational leadership and his pursuit of knowledge, his desire to improve an entire community, that we recognize Mr. J.W. Broadhurst as part of our fabric of our community. At this time, may I please continue to have the Georgetown Alumni Association to stand. If you're unable to stand, can you please raise your hand? And if you had a family member that attended Georgetown High School and is no longer here, can you please stand in recognition of their honor? At this time, I will have Mr. Jimmy Sidbury to please come to the podium to give remarks about Mr. J.W. Broadhurst.
God bless you. It's indeed an honor for me to stand here on this most auspicious occasion and to accept this recognition that has been given to our principal, J.W. Broadhurst. I know you have stood, but could all the alumnus of Georgetown High School please stand? Mr. Broadhurst is engraved into all of our hearts. When we was there, we didn't know that he thought as much about us as he really did, but he believed in education excellency. He believed in each child trying to do the very best that they could, and he really prepared us to face a world when we left Georgetown High School. Mr. Broadhurst have touched the lives of so many of us. We have gone on to have great careers with the military. We have had educators that have taught not only here in Onslow County, but across this great country. And when I look around, look at the success of a lot of our men and women, a lot of entrepreneurs have gone on. That was a product of Mr. J.W. Broadhurst. And when you talk about the fabric of a community, Mr. Broadhurst have woven a lot of black children into that blanket that you have here in Onslow County. So on behalf of all of these alumnus that you see standing, it's a great joy and it's a great honor for all of us to receive this reward in his honor. Thank you so kindly.
Please join me in welcoming Mr. Houston P. Chenal and his family to come on up here to the front for recognition. Houston Chenal is the National Monument Director for the National Montford Point Marine Association. As such, he has come to be a part of the face of those who have worked to preserve this moment in history and the legacy the Montford Point Marines have earned. As Monument Director, he has had to tell the story of the Montford Point Marines, whose existence as Montford Point active Marines came only from 1942 to 1949. In short, the Marine Corps was the last of the armed forces to admit Black Americans, and they did so reluctantly, only after President Franklin Roosevelt signed an executive order banning racial discrimination by all federal agencies in 1941. On June 1st, 1942, the Marine Corps began to recruit Black Americans between the ages of 17 and 29. White Marine recruits went to Parris Island. The Black Marines were segregated to a part of Camp Lejeune which was not fully developed in 1942. They had to build their own huts, chow halls, and other buildings at what would become, for a brief time, Camp Montford Point. As the base itself was still under construction, this area was particularly unfavorable. A historian of the time wrote, quote, "The camp was a swampy, wildlife-ridden forest area. The area's animals and insects varied from absurd amounts of mosquitoes and deer flies to bears and snakes. The summer temperature often peaked above 100 degrees, and the winter weather occasionally dropping below 10 degrees. Now, their huts were tents on platforms, and as unwelcoming was the climate, they were also unwelcome. A white Marine had to accompany them when they wanted to go to Mainside Lejeune, and because they could not travel through Jacksonville, they had to take a boat to the rifle range downriver instead of traveling overland on what is now US 17 to NC 210. They did not keep their weapons, but instead they were handed out by white Marines to them when they needed them, and their tasks were as stevedores and stewards. But they were to endure and prosper, electing among themselves to be the best they could be. Eventually, they proved to be the best gunners. A pivotal moment came during the battles at Iwo Jima, when they put down the ammo they were carrying to white Marines and took up arms to help fight the battle. A statue memorializing that moment is the featured work at the Montford Point Memorial in the Lejeune Memorial Gardens. Chief Warrant Officer 5, retired, Houston Chenal, came to the task of building the memorial from happenstance. When he was temporarily stationed at 29 Palms, California, he attended a Black History Month presentation. It was at that presentation he learned of the Montford Point Marines. This dedicated Marine had never heard their story, despite his years of service. That changed when he returned to Camp Lejeune. He became deeply involved with the Montford Point Marine Association. He served as treasurer, financial secretary, and chapter president for the local chapter. He served as national treasurer for the national organization, and eventually, his passion for the story of the Montford Pointers led to his appointment as the National Monument Director. In that role, he became the face of the fundraising effort and the voice for those Marines of Montford Point whose names are not recorded as a complete set by the Marine Corps. With much assistance, he won funding for the project that included local governments, the Jacksonville Tourism Authority, and the state, as well as many individual donations. Houston was not alone in the fundraising, as many contributed to the effort, and his partners and fellow association members came to know the power of Houston reaching out to others for assistance. In building the memorial, the concept changed from a few benches and trees to the wonderful icon-laden tribute that it is today. He has spent hundreds of hours before, during, and after construction at the memorial. He tends to the grass, the lights, the brickwork, and whatever needs to be done. In keeping with his public advancement of the story of the Montford Point Marines, he has hosted many journalists, visitors, and elected leaders at the site, sometimes joined by others, including some of the original Montford Pointers. But mostly, it is Houston and the memorial, its meaning humbly being told by a 30-year Marine veteran whose inspiration came from a story told to him and which was then glorified in stone, brick, marble, and bronze at the Lejeune Memorial Gardens. He tells the story with pride, particularly to young Marines and others who have never heard the story of the Montford Point Marines. In 2012, the Montford Point Marines were awarded the Congressional Gold Medal. It is our country's highest civilian honor, awarded as an expression of national appreciation for distinguished achievements and contributions. The back of the medal reads, "For outstanding perseverance and courage that inspired social change in the Marine Corps." He is practiced in his telling, but flexible in his stories. He notes the wall of 20,000 stars, which reflects that the Marine Corps did not keep the names of those who served as Montford Point Marines. He points to the gun acquired to help tell the story of the determination to be the best gunners they could be. And he relates how he met the notorious Sergeant Major Huff and visited his home and met his brother-in-law, Sergeant Major Gilbert Johnson, for whom Montford Point is named for now as Camp Johnson. His stories sometimes are told to those who hold a more personal but less informed connection to their older family members. The Montford Point Marine Association is still searching for the families of those who served as Montford Point Marines to be able to give that family one of the Congressional Gold Medals. This campaign has produced tearful and profound reactions from family members who, before being asked, had no idea anyone in their family had served as a Montford Point Marine. Now, through the work of Houston Schnall, those families can see the story in the memorial built for those who served as Montford Point Marines. For his dedication to the story of the Montford Point Marines and his passion that significantly contributed to the creation of the Montford Point Marines Memorial and the continued work he does to cause others to never forget their sacrifice, the Onslow Civic Affairs Committee declares Houston P. Schnall to be a valuable part of the fabric of our community. And the fabric square reads, "From this day forth, the Onslow Civic Affairs Committee has designated that Houston Schnall is forever to be known for his significant contributions to improving, strengthening, and benefiting the fabric of our community. Inducted on Wednesday, April 20th, 2022.
Thank you. When I volunteered to take the job to be the monument director, first thing I told the national president was I would do that job as long as I didn't have to raise money. And as most of you in this room know, that did not turn out to be the case. For any of you that have not had the opportunity to visit the memorial, I suggest that you do. We hold it dear as a portion of the Jacksonville and Onslow County history. We tell the story, and as I told earlier today, the organization set out to put together a memorial that all of us could go visit, learn a story, and not walk away feeling some sort of way, as long as that wasn't a sense of pride. Thank you.
Don and Mary Ann Herring. Excuse me, Dr. Don and Mary Ann Herring. This power couple gets things done by persistence, tenacity, with keen eyes on the target. For some people, having an idea and working to make it happen is their accomplishment and honor. For Don and Mary Ann Herring, their involvement is frequently enduring and passionate. Both Dr. Don and Mary Ann Herring have served to educate this community, having worked on many tasks over the time. Their dedication to education and continued enrichment is recognized in the work they have done as a vocation and as volunteers for many programs. Mary Ann Herring had a 30-year career as an adult educator, starting with a 4-year tour as part of North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service. She finished her career with 26 years at Coastal Carolina Community College. She was just a baby. Started, right, Mary Ann? It was there that she started the Continuing Education Division. She helped develop and grow Coastal's weekend college program to include a 4-part series, which allowed weekend civilian and military construction enthusiasts to build a 1,000-square-foot starter home in 6 to 8 months. Through a pilot partnership between Coastal and the City of Jacksonville's community development effort, the program constructed 4 homes in 3 neighborhoods for the first-time homeowners. Mary Ann's father's commercial auto body shop served as a great background for running the Industrial and Applied Technology Unit at Coastal. Her experience in multiple teaching labs through cooperative extension also assisted her in extensive development, growth, and revitalization of programs. Mary Ann and the college collaborated with Onslow County School System, and for 18 years of consecutive competitive federal technical prep funding that benefited the school system and the community college. This program is part of the effort that produced the Skills Center that Senator Brown provided funding for. The annual Trades Day, where students show off their construction training in a competitive environment, were the result of her work. This project with the Jacksonville Onslow Chamber of Commerce has helped advance the construction trade in our community for many years. It is likely that none would have prepared her for making complete German Oktoberfest outfits for her and Don. They would be worn as part of their support for the Onslow Community Outreach's premier fundraising effort, Oktoberfest. Mary Ann is the beer tender leader. She runs a tight ship that has helped to make this lucrative area for the outreach, right? Dr. Dunn got involved in Onslow Community Outreach after a financial crisis there. He pledged to keep the organization solvent and did so often with difficult decisions on how to advance and preserve the organization. Today, Onslow Community Outreach has a new face of their service to those in need within our community with a special building at 1210 Hargett Street. His leadership of the board of directors followed a mantra heard before in the organization to step out in faith. Financially solvent and truly engaged with the community, this organization continues to serve the homeless, those in need of free medical and dental care, and as the home to Christmas cheer. As an early supporter of the concept of Sturgeon City, he was involved in 1999 with the school system's work to help create a summer program that would inspire youth with leadership skills, stewardship of our natural resources, and community knowledge. From the involvement with Sturgeon City Institutes, he also became deeply involved in the Sturgeon City Board of Directors after it became freestanding. His leadership of the board through the difficult passage of funding for the Environmental Education Center that we're in today was precarious but successful. Now this $4 million building serves as a demonstration of the power the restoration of the New River can bring. It also serves as a community resource for event space. The dedication of Mary Ann and Don came into focus when they led the opening ceremony and then hosted events and activities for which the community was proud and which attracted others to consider use of this building. Determined it would be operated correctly, they got licenses and personal instruction and the special permits that center holds now. The two were also determined that the building continues to tell the story of how this community was changed through a restoration project that had been universally questioned, but which turned into a story of community pride. Ever supportive, the two are frequently seen here at Sturgeon City Environmental Education Center for many, many hours. Equally, the two help where they can with Onslow Community Outreach. Don in a leadership role, and Mary Ann, who quietly plans, executes, and watches the success that are created. Dr. Don first came to be a part of Christmas Cheer as a volunteer. I won't tell all the story. He helped in the assembly of bicycles in the back of the building with a muddy parking lot. This PhD created a bridge over the muddy divide and kept the production of bicycles for children going. Since that time, he's been a loyal volunteer, making Christmas cheer work, from getting food for volunteers, to putting up tables, to building walls, to doing whatever needs to be done to help the program provide Christmas for children. Dr. Don does it. Dr. Don took up the mantle of helping Onslow Outreach realize a dream of a permanent home for Christmas cheer. It was under his leadership and the supportive work of Mary Ann Herring that this came to be. The two were also at the helm when Sturgeon City Environmental Education Center was funded, built, and opened. This facility has turned into a community center as well as a rich educational resource. Don's first touch with Sturgeon City was when he was with the Onslow County School System and worked to make Sturgeon City a reality. The institutes are one project that has its roots in Onslow Civic Affairs Committee. Don was part of the original Jacksonville Civic Affairs Committee that was disbanded to allow the creation of Onslow Civic Affairs Committee in 1999. He served as a representative of Coastal Carolina Community College and helped to create many beneficial relationships that improved civic education. He helped improve the nonprofit community with a nonprofit education program that operates for Onslow County currently. Don has served as Civic Affairs Chairman since 2001 and has presided over community observances such as the Freedom Fountain Observant, Patriot Day, 9/11 Observance, and Jacksonville's Freedom Day, which is now combined with Juneteenth. He has been a bridge and an inspiration for dozens of those who have served him as Civic Affairs Committee members and a powerful advocate for civic education. Today, he leads others to do the duties he would do for the committee after our group unanimously voted to honor him and Mary Ann because of their enduring contributions to our community. For their enduring dedication and never-ending passion for those things that make our community great, Don and Mary Ann Herring are declared to be a critical part of the fabric of our community. The fabric square reads, "From this day forth, the Onslow Civic Affairs Committee has designated that Don and Mary Ann Herring are forever to be known for their significant contribution to improving, strengthening, and benefiting the fabric of our community." Inducted Wednesday, April 20th, 2022. Don, would you like to say something?
Well, my wife, Marianne, and I are indeed humbled to be a part of this induction class here with so many other great inductees today. We give special thanks to United Way, Jones Onslow, Civic Affairs Committee here. Quite humbled to be recipients of this. Good marital protocol lets your wife speak first, you know. So,
as Don said, we are very honored and humbled to be even mentioned in the names of the current and the past recipients and the inductees of this award. So we are very honored. Randy Thomas once said about 20 years ago, he said, when you get Don a volunteer, you get Mary Ann as a free upgrade. So I don't know how free it is, but we certainly do come together as a team. And there are many great people doing fabulous things, and that many of those are in the room here doing wonderful things in our community. We are very one small piece of that puzzle, and there are lots of people who help us along the way. Those I definitely need to make sure that I thank are our family members who seem to keep not ever saying no to us. They keep saying yes for some reason. They never turn us down. And my Coastal Carolina Community College family, the Chamber of Commerce, and the business community that has helped us every time we've tried to do something for promotion of career and technical education like Trades Day, who supported us all the way. So thank you very much for that. That is definitely near and dear to our hearts. And of course, a special shout out to Onslow New River Rotary, our buddies who always help us with all of our many, many community volunteer activities. So thank you for that.
you gotta get that with a smile and all, makes you feel excited there and all. So I want to take just a moment to thank our leaders of Onslow County and City of Jacksonville. There's three things that have led to the success of what goes on and the inductees in this room today. We all have a share a common goal: teamwork, partnership, persistence, perseverance, whichever one you want to use there. Those efforts of what allowed the City of Jacksonville, County of Onslow, our community, our military community to come together and do all the great things and to continue setting that bar to increase and do great things here. I'd like to thank the city and the county and leaders and all along this 32-year journey since we've been home here. Been married 35 years and chance to be back 32 years of those years because those have led to some great components there and all. So many improvements in our community, opportunities to open this environmental education center, opportunity to take the start of the Onslow Community Outreach and to grow and to build that. Again, we could not have done that without the help of the city, the county, our leaders here, and our volunteers here. We have a large, supportive military community here. I am so glad that we reflect that today in the awards and the remembrance of those who help and serve and protect our country. As my wife has given a shout out, we have so many service organizations that come together, either through under the Support of United Way or through individual groups that really make a difference here, and we've just been glad to be a part of those items there. We've had, again, some phenomenal people and some phenomenal volunteers, and you can start out with any single name and for fear of leaving somebody out. But we'd like to just take one moment again and thank Senator Harry Brown here. He's been a part of 3 activities that have paralleled with our lives here. That'll happen if you get up. That's right. He's paralleled his personal support and leadership and legislative behind the scenes there, allowed critical monies to come to the outreach at a time when we were in the planning phases that allowed us to be prepared for shovel-ready and leaves a legacy building at 1210 Hargett Street now. His early support and leadership, which is important to any success, was instrumental in the start and growth of Sturgeon City here. We greatly much appreciate that. And for all the years that we were involved in industrial and technology there, come along and have such an advocate for that and to provide his support, and that have yielded a wonderful active trades day, which is supported so well by the chamber and reflects the skills of this community, and most importantly, leading to the regional training center there. Those are just things that I know sometimes legislators want, if we take this chance, are they going to make it good? And I'm glad to be on the other side as a team to make these items good here. Again, we're so pleased and blessed to be a part of this celebration day, and thank you so much.
"28 panels now form our quilt. They represent 33 people. While the space they cover is small, the impact these people made on our community is significant, broad, and deep. The Onslow Civic Affairs Committee will add panels to our quilt as time goes on and as the contributions to improving the fabric of our community continues. What will be your legacy? How will you contribute to the fabric of our community? For those now not involved and who are willing to pick up the mantle, we ask you to consider joining a board or commission, volunteering, participating, or just being involved. The names on our panels are part of a unique group who stood up to answer a call. They responded to the needs in our community. They made a positive contribution. If you're not contributing, we welcome an opportunity to expose you to volunteering, service to your community, or for active participation in boards and communities. We hope next year to continue our partnerships with United Way in recognition of all those who come together to make this a better place. Thank you to all those that we honor today, those of you that came to be with them, and my fellow members of the Civic Affairs Committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Loretta. At this time, I would like to have Raquel Painter please come to our closing remarks.
What a great afternoon. My gosh. I don't know how many times I had to wipe the tears away. Thank you, Harry Brown, for that. But I just want to thank you guys for being here. It's always great to recognize the volunteers. We know they don't ask for it, but they definitely deserve it. So we want to make sure we provide a venue for that. Just always remember, every year we're here doing this. We're going to recognize our volunteers that serve our community. We're going to recognize those that are woven into our community through the fabric of our community awards. So before I close, I definitely want to thank my board of directors for United Way for giving me an opportunity to lead and get my ideals out there. I appreciate you guys letting me do that. Definitely to my staff, Shelley, if you would stand, Lisa, Betty, Diane, Mary, thank you. I'm sure most of you in this room know we do a lot in United Way, but we only have a paid staff of 3 people, me, Shelley, and Lisa. All the other ones are volunteers that really help us do what we do for the community. So my heart is always in a place of volunteers because there's nothing more precious than a person's time. That's one thing. We all wake up, we got the same amount of time to give each day, and then some people give all that they can, and it's definitely heartwarming. So thank you guys for attending our event, and we hope to see you again next year or out volunteering throughout the year. Thank you.